The new free 5-star standard banner character selector was just confirmed for every anniversary in the 5.0 livestream. Finally, we can get any standard banner character that we have yet to get. Personally, I'm going to go for Dehya as she's the only one that I currently do not have. If you're still trying to decide who to get, you can feel free to check out my other video, which standard banner 5-star character is the most worth it to build, to see who to get. Anyway, today's video will be covering the scenario for after that. What is the best team comms for these standard banner characters if you have obtained them and are planning to use them? Do note that all team comms shown today are based off of my own experience and playthroughs. If you don't have a particular character, feel free to swap out that character for another. For example, swapping Baizu for Kirara instead for the shielding. Without further ado, let's first talk about the DPS characters. For Diluc, his best team used to be the pairing of Yelan, Xingqiu and Bennett. However, that damage was quite lackluster and Hu Tao would be better for that instead. Instead, his new best team after the 4.4 patch is with Yelan, Furina and Xianyun. Yelan and Furina provide Hydro Application and damage boost, while Xianyun heals, VV shreds, and then enables Diluc's plunge attacks to allow him to do considerable damage and put him back into being a viable DPS character. That said, this team is still better for Hu Tao instead, but if you want to use Diluc, this is a good option. I once said that Keqing was bad due to the fact that her electro application is not that strong and her electro infusion doesn't last long enough. However, when you use the Thundering Fury artifact set on her, together with a Dendro team, it helps to mitigate that. The team that I will recommend is with Nahida, Kazuha, and Fischl. Nahida provides the Dendro application, Kazuha swirls to buff Electro and reduce the enemy's resistance to Electro, while Fischl acts as a sub DPS to activate more aggravates with an A4 talent. This is what makes Keqing extremely viable today. For the final DPS Tighnari, I would say that he's currently the best DPS on the standard banner, thanks to the fact that he scales off both attack and EM, which means that despite poor scalings as a 5-star standard character, he's able to do crazy damage thanks to Dendro reactions. You have two options here, Spread or Spread and Hyper Bloom with him. For the Spread team, I will go with Nahida, Zhongli and Raiden. Nahida applies Dendro, Zhongli gives shielding, and Raiden provides a coordinated electro attack when attacks hit the target. Tighnari can easily deal a lot of damage just by spamming his elemental skills, charge shots, and elemental burst. For Spread and Hyper Bloom team, Baizu, Furina, and Qiqi is great. Baizu is for shielding and healing, Furina for damage buff and Hydro Application for Bloom, and Qiqi is for activating the Hyper Bloom. This does surprisingly well thanks to Tighnari's quick charge attack shots. Next, let's move on to the one and only support, Mona. Mona is honestly a rather complicated support character as you need to know when to use her burst properly to deal the most damage. To date, her best team, I believe, is still the Morgana Freeze team of Ayaka, Kazuha and Shenhe. Shenhe provides cryo buffs, Kazuha swirls the cryo, and Mona uses a burst which can actually last longer if the enemy is frozen. Ayaka can then use the burst to deal a lot of cryo damage. Let's move on to the healers next. It's really hard to come up with a team for Qiqi, because honestly, no one really uses her. Anyway, with the Fontaine meta of HP increase and decrease, she can still work decently well with the Fontaine characters, in particular Neuvillette, Furina and Wriothesley. In my opinion, she may work best with Neuvillette due to her being able to heal off-field thanks to her skill and burst. So, pairing her with Neuvillette, Kazuha, and maybe a shielder like Zhongli or defense shredder like Lisa can also work pretty well. Jean is the superior healer thanks to her being of the animal element, meaning she can do viridescent venereal debuffs to the enemy, but also having a team-wide healing with her burst. In the Fontaine meta, especially when paired with Furina, it really makes Jean amazing. While she can fit into many different teams, I personally really like the team of Wanderer, Furina and Xingqiu. Furina provides buffs, Xingqiu provides Hydro application and some resistance to interruption with his swords. Jean is there to heal to bring the team back up to good health so that Wanderer can make the most out of Furina's damage boost. Otherwise, a mono Hydro team of Yelan, Furina, Xingqiu and Jean also works really well in the Abyss. Finally, let's move on to the only shielder in the game, Dehya. Dehya honestly isn't really a shielder, but rather a damage mitigator, as she provides resistance to interruption and somewhat takes the damage for teammates. She isn't very good at her job though, with long cooldowns and ICDs. However, with the Fontaine meta, she works the best overall with Lini, as Lini gains more pyro damage the more pyro members there are in the team. So, a team of Lini, Dehya, Bennett and Kazuha will work sorta well. That said, I think Dehya could get better soon, especially given the recently released Emily and upcoming Kinnich's Burning Kit. So, what do you think? Do you have any other teams that you would like to recommend? Feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments section below. If you have made it this far, do consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't, as it would really help out this small channel to get to its next goal of 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much and see you soon! If you'd like to see which standard banner character is the most worth it to build, please click the video on the right. If you would like to see other Genshin Impact videos that I've made, please click the playlist on the left. Once again, thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!